What was that? Oh, that's my background. Oh, yo, what's going down? Ah, shoot. All right, y'all, we're gonna try this again. All right. I don't understand. What I mean by I don't understand is, can y'all hear me? I'm gonna move my microphone. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna move my microphone. Don't worry about it. I just need to make sure y'all can hear me properly. Just make sure y'all can hear me properly. I'm not gonna have it like all in y'all face like that. But I just need to make sure y'all can hear me. Because of this show, I wanted to make sure that I could be heard because I had people coming on. Can y'all hear me properly? Damn, that was loud. I hope so. That sound loud. Let me turn that down. It might be too loud. There we go. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Do 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 do. Ah. Who ain't touching what? Who ain't touching who? Who's going? What's going on? First of all, y'all shouldn't be touching nobody. All right, keep your hands to yourself. That's first and foremost what you need to do. Keep your hands to yourself. All of y'all. What's going on, y'all? Yes, we are here early. Why? Because it's Easter. Or well, Easter was yesterday or whatever. So schedules have been completely thrown off. All right. Meaning, I was supposed to do the show damn yesterday and didn't get to do the show yesterday because I forgot it was Easter. And then my mama hit me up. My mama was like, "What time you coming to the Easter egg hunt?" And I was like, "What Easter egg hunt?" And I was like, "Oh, shoot, it is Easter." So then I get over there with my family. Happy Easter to everybody, by the way. Get over there with my family. We do all the Easter egg hunt and all that. And, I'm the uncle. You know what I'm saying? And my nieces and nephews ain't got but one on this side. They got two other uncles. So I had to be the drunk uncle. So by the time I been who I was supposed to be as being the drunk uncle, I can't get on no show and talk to y'all folks by that time. It was over with. So shit. So we ain't had no show yesterday. You know what I'm saying? We ain't had no show. But guess what? We got a show today. We got a show today. We got a show today. Okay, so we got Coach them coming on a little later, because I said like I had to do this a little early today. So, calling them, they still at the work, regular job. As you see, I'm at work too. Luckily, I can do my job from my job because I don't have any sessions right now until like 5:30 or whatever. So, before we even get this thing started, first of all, so I was at Texas Relays. Y'all know I was at Texas Relays. And then one of them, I have to say, for me, okay? Because I raced this guy way back when I was a little jit, like small jit. But I'm talking about like it was, I can tell you when I raced him. I raced him in 2003 down there at UTEP. He had came back just doing the race. And I was like, y'all think I'll be playing when I tell y'all, every time I've been in a race, I ain't give a damn who it was. I felt like I could beat him. I didn't give a damn that was Obadele Thompson. I didn't care that I went but like 21 years old. I didn't care. I didn't care that I not even go sub 10. All I saw was a chance for me to be great. Meaning, if I can beat Obadele Thompson down here at this UTEP meet, my name will be on the scene. It didn't happen, so y'all didn't know me. It didn't happen. It didn't happen that way at all. It didn't happen. I saw the back of his spikes, and I was like, damn. So that way it looked like to have somebody 10 meters in front of me. And then when it was like, I'm telling y'all, the dude, when the gun went off, because, I've always been crunk about mine. Man, gun went off. Damn, God, I said, boy, look here. Boy, what y'all bring me down here for? I thought y'all brought me down here to get a time, man. Y'all got me embarrassed. Anyway, he on the show today, so we're going to let him come on in. Believe it or not, that dude is smart, okay? If you didn't know, you're going to find out today. If you didn't know, you're going to find out today. If you didn't know, you're going to find out today. I said it 3 times, so it means it's real. Kai Love, don't you start messing with me today. Don't you start. I don't know why your name be popping up first as soon as I get ready to do my shout out. Don't you Nat with the stat coming on here in about another 25, 30 minutes too, so we can get some actual breakdown of some stuff. Nat's always the one that's giving us the stats with the splits in the 20s and 30s and the 40s and all that. So I was like, Nat, you got to come on the show, baby. You ain't gonna just keep giving me these damn stats and things. I don't know how you got this stuff. These folks be charging me up. They be coming at me like, Ray, where you get this information from? I got it from Nat. Well, Nat don't know what he do. Man, look, Nat, you got to come talk to you folks your damn self. I ain't gonna keep arguing these people about these stats and how you do 10, 20, 20, 30. And Belgium, what's going on? Right there. What's going on, brother? What the deal is, baby? What the deal is? LB, he already in here. He in the green room. He getting his powder. He doing his powder stuff. They wait in the green room, get their powder together. Owen Morris, what's going on? Owen, what's going on, baby? Don't you start in today. Don't you bring none of that great British stuff over here today now. I'm just telling you now. It's Independence Day today. Doggone it. 4th of July. It's America, Jack. You leave that British stuff over there in the T column. You and Anson. TD what's going on, baby? AJT, what it do, baby? All in the game. What it do? What it do? Who else in here? Fire hard. Don't get fired. Because you on here now. I told y'all, if you at work, you in the bathroom starting to come on here now. Don't you get your ass fired because I can't hire you. All right? Oh, Randy Washington, what's going on, baby? What it do? What it do? Red Star Lion. You know what? I'm going to bring him in since y'all keep asking about him. Hey, right there. Hey, what's going on, sir?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Ray?
How you doing? Welcome to RaesTake. I told you I had to get you on here. I told y'all. And coincidentally enough, the past weekend happened, so it played out perfect for you to be on the show. But I talked to him last weekend and I asked him, could he be on the show? And now he is actually on the show. Welcome, Mr. Obadele Thompson. Sir, would you mind introducing yourself to these people?
Well, thanks for having me on, Ray. As you said, we connected at Texas Relays. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Everything's okay? Yeah. You're coming through a little bit muffled on my end. I'm not sure what's going on with that. If it's a StreamYard. But like I said, thanks for having me on. We connected at Texas Relays. And from early on when you started your show, your podcast, I'd seen a couple of early episodes and it was a really interesting take.
What about now? It should be fixed now.
Well, I'll live with it.
Let's run it.
Okay. So you've had some interesting takes. And of course, one of my training partners from about 20 years ago, Anson Henry, you guys like to stir things up. I'm more of the stay out of conflict. I like more of the stats and the analysis part of it. But I also think that it's really important to bring that entertainment value as well as the informational part of it from people who have actually done it, not just outsiders, but people who have done it at a high level in the sport. Mm-hmm. So not sure what to say as an introduction. I'm just Oba and former athlete who still loves the sport. Loved the sport before I even knew how good I was, and ran for a couple of years. I'm originally from Barbados, so I competed as a junior for Barbados. Went to UTEP for college. Moved to Austin to train with the great Dan Paff, who coached Donovan Bailey to his 1996 Olympic gold medal. We had success. Into 2000, got injured and pretty much lost the rest of my career through injuries. But, and then there's life after. But I still love the sport. So I still follow it. Not as closely as I used to when I competed, but I definitely still keep up with things.
Well, I'm gonna do this because I know you, and you're gonna do just that. You the type of person where you ain't gonna lift yourself up, and ain't nothing wrong with that. You ain't gonna talk about you being the first person to go 9-6. You ain't gonna talk about that. You ain't gonna talk about being in a race with Michael Johnson. You ain't gonna talk about that. You ain't gonna talk about getting second to Maurice Green. You ain't gonna talk about that. You ain't gonna talk about your accolades. So get what? Me and Coach gonna talk about your accolades before we start. They ain't gonna get into it. Coach,
hey, Coach.
What's going on, baby? What it do?
What up? What up?
You see, we got on the show acting like he ain't did nothing.
Yes, sir.
Listen, let me tell you something. I had a bunch of Bahamian teammates, right? And Oba is the most revered sprinter. Before there was Bolt, I don't care what anybody say. Everybody loved Oba. And the funny thing is, you would never find a person say one negative thing about that man. Never. And I remember those days of having those conversations with my Bahamian teammates, even people moving forward. You would never hear a negative thing about him. He is the pillar of gentlemen and being debonair and all that stuff, man. So shout out to you, man. And yes, I remember watching the video of you running. Was it 9.6? Was it 9.69? 9.68?
9.69.
Yeah, 9.69.
Yeah, and I remember the story Coach Kitchens coming by, asked Coach Kitchens about that, and he said Oba couldn't walk for like 3 or 4 days.
Correct.
Yeah, he said so. He like that's how you knew it was real. And the funny thing, a lot of people don't realize Oba opened up his season 45-21 in the open quarter.
It was 38, but
38,
yeah.
38. I'm close. You know what I'm saying? I got a little something up here, man.
Yeah, yeah,
So man, good to see you again, man. Good to see
yeah.
you, man.
So you know what? Let's go ahead and take off right there then before we get into anything. Cause I know we ain't got you for long. Tell us about that 9-6 race that you did. Give us the date when you did it. Tell us how you felt when it happened. And then, like Coach said, tell us how you felt afterwards. I'm asking that because I got a series of questions that I want to bring to the table today.
All right. So
25 years ago this week.
yeah, it's 1996. So I am. Well, first off, I got to shout a couple people who turned up. Some folks from Barbados. One of my former training partners, also Jermaine Scatterberry, who just I guess did the super chat. Good dude, and some others. But okay, so here's the backstory. You're gonna get stuff out of me that I rarely ever talk about. So yeah,
let's go, baby.
So the first Olympics I ever watched was 1984. Carl Lewis winning 4 gold medals. Right, I was 8 years old, and then fast forward 8 years. Ben crosses the line first, but Carl wins the second one. And so at the age of 12 is when I really started to watch track seriously. Back then in Barbados, we had one TV station, and my dad, who was actually a runner himself, he won the British Universities title, which is the British equivalent to the NCAA title. And I believe he was also Jamaican national champion when he was a student in Jamaica at the university, even though he's from Guyana. I grew up around, a sense of track history, even though I didn't know how good I was or would become. So I really started to watch film from the time I was 12, just old VHS rewinding and being intrigued. There was all the backstory between Carl and Ben. And then, in the race was Linford Christie. You had the former world record holder who Ben had displaced as a 100-meter record holder. Calvin Smith was in the race. You had a young Dennis Mitchell, now cutting his teeth. You had Ray Stewart, who had made the Olympic Games in '84 as a high school athlete, made the finals and won the semifinals going into the finals. So there was a lot of things going on. Fast forward a couple years, and I won the Carifta Championships in my first year, the under-17 division, in 1991. And then it started to occur to me, you know what? I want to go to the Olympics. So in 1992, I looked at what, if I wanted to go somewhere, where would it be? And two schools came into mind. First was UTEP. The reason is they had a Nigerian sprinter called Olopade Adenike, who won the NCAA titles in the 100 and 200. And he also set the 100-meter NCAA record, 997, at the meet. The second, going on with Olopade Adenike, I was also like a stats nerd back then. So the other thing that was really interesting about him was that he was the only sprinter in 1992 to have a positive win record. It was 4-3 against Linford Christie, who won the Olympics in 1992. And he also made both finals in the 100 and 200 at the Olympics. So when I started to think, okay, I want to compete at the 1996 Olympics. I want to be in a system that not only develops NCAA champions, but develops people who can go on. Because my goal was to win the 1996 Olympics, right? So the second school that I looked at was USC. And of course, because they had Quincy Watts, who at that stage, as we all know, ran 44 flat to set the NCAA record. He then goes on to run 43.50 to win the Olympic title. I looked at the way that he ran, even in 1991, when he really broke out in the 4x4 leg in the at the World Championships. I think he split like 43.2 or something bananas, right? And the way that he ran, those intrigued me. So I called UTEP, and this is pre-internet. There was no video about me, right? Like, people won't believe this. I was not recruited. I called, and even though I was the Carifta champion, I couldn't get into meets in the United States. I'm beating guys who turn up at all these high school meets in the US, and I can't get there because no one knows who Barbados is. I remember calling Coach Kitchens in El Paso and him saying to Barbados, and he got his globe out. And we told him where to find Barbados on his globe in his office. Right? So my goal in coming to UTEP was to win the Olympics. So I looked at how people did things. I said, okay, first year you're not going to do anything. You know, I'm 17 years old. I'm like 135 pounds, right? Second year, I said, you typically don't. That's when you start to become comfortable. I need at least 3 years in the system to get the benefit of the system. Fortunately for me, when I went there, my first semester, Obadele Thompson had come back to El Paso to train. And not only that, but Coach Kitchen's former great athlete, this guy Lorenzo Daniel, who won the NCAA title in the 200 meters back in 1988, running a time of 19.87, he was there finish up his master's. So in my first semester, I got a chance to be around the guys who, at that stage, held both the 100 and I think the 200 meter NCAA records. They were champions, and I picked their brain like crazy. The first year, we had an incredible sprint crew. My roommate the first semester was Andrew Tynes, who eventually won the 200 meter championships in 1994. Why am I setting it up like this? Because by the time we roll around to 1996, my last year, first year I set, I equaled the world junior record in the 100, around 10:09 or 10:08.
10:07.
Right? I think it was 10:08 actually. It's 10:08, right?
10:08.
And I remember after, it was an altitude, it was like a 1.9 minutes, you know. And I remember after that race, Coach Kitchens bringing Obadele Thompson to talk to me after that race. And what they said to me is, you run fast, but you're not there yet. And in my mind, I'm thinking, these guys don't know me. You don't even know me. And they were extremely right. Because I had jumped from like 10:30 all the way to 10:09. And what they were trying to tell me is, you're not a 10:09 runner. You got to fill in all this stuff in between. And I'm telling you, it was so frustrating because you live with this title of being, oh, you're the fastest junior in the world. And then I got injured. And, you know, it's a title that people almost, or you expect yourself to live up to it, not realizing, hey, that's one race. That's not who you are. Who you are is the average of what you're capable of, what you do, right?
That part. That part.
Oh, shout out to T. Shout out to T. That's what I was saying in the group chat yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. It was hard. It was hard.
Not what you've done. The average.
Yeah.
What you can do. I like the way you put that.
You are the average, not your people.
So then the next year, I had the fastest 3 times as a junior and the 8 fastest of 11 times as a junior in the world in the 100, and the 3rd fastest in 200. So to me, things are coming on track. Getting to 1996, what I started to do was I started to ramp up my workouts. So on days where we would have maybe 4 200s, I started saying, I'm gonna do 4 250s. Because to me, I looked at it as the purpose that I came to school was this. So indoors, we ran the 55. I ran 6:08 in the 55, which back then was a pretty big deal. To finish second at the NCAA championships. And in the 200, I broke the Michael Johnson's old record. It was 20:59. I ran 20:36.
Yep.
So
you still got the collegiate record in the 55, the first collegiate run.
Right. And that was the next year as a senior. So I'm framing this so that you understand what my thinking and how it all points and comes together. When I came outdoors, I said, okay, coach, because we used to do 600s and I used to run on the 4x4 relay. I said, okay, coach, it's my 20th birthday. Can I run a 400? So I ran a 400, and I remember finishing the race and walking off, and one of the assistant coaches coming up and saying, man, that's like 40. We just got you at 45.3. And I said, no, because I didn't even run. No. And then they announced it 45.38. I said, oh, interesting. And then 2 weeks later, so this is 2 weeks after I turned 20, is when I ran the 969.
You ran that 969 before you was even able to buy a shot of liquor?
Yeah, it was.
That's crazy as hell. I don't think people forget the win. All right, we just gonna toss that out because we gotta talk about that later on with other races. The fact that your body went from point A to point B in 9.6 seconds at 21 years old, win to the knot, bro, that is moving. And then hold on, but then you gotta also apply the date when you did that. Like now 9.6 is like,
right.
you know, woo, that was fast. But when you did that shit, it was unheard of. Like literally, forget the win, it was unheard of. And I didn't even know you was 20 years old when you did that. That's news to me.
Right.
Serious
His
turn.
run was so impressive. I kid you not. It was on Sports Center. It was on all the highlight. It was on all the highlight reels because people was like, "How in the hell did somebody just run faster than Carl?" Because the standard at one
Right.
time was Carl
Right. Carl
Lewis.
Lewis.
Right, and so here comes this kid from Utah, but nobody realizes just how good he is. Now, if you're a track aficionado like I was, and I still am, you know, oh, okay, you know what he's about to do, and then you just kind of, you know, follow his trend. You know, the funny thing is, Oba was the reason why I wanted to go to UTEP, but I was scared. I was scared to call the coach. I promise you, I was scared to call the coach, and it was Ronald Promise and all those guys.
Yeah, Ronald. Yeah.
Going to be there. And literally, because I know you was teammates with Milton Mallett for 1 year.
Yeah,
right?
with Milton,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, Milton Mallett. For those of y'all who don't know, Milton Mallett was a Ding Bowles coach at Texas A&M.
And he was the big bro, man. Milton.
Yeah, Milton was a dog in that 200. Like he was like a lot of people don't know that. Do your history on that guy. But Oba's highlight was just going through the whole night when he ran it, and that thing just kind of sent shockwaves through all the track and field. Like literally, like had he not got hurt at it was the NCAA championships,
Right.
ain't no tell.
But I'm gonna tell you how this all plays out, right? So I run the race, and you know you're here in the stands, and it doesn't really compute, right? And I had to actually get help walking back, getting my stuff. One of my friends, childhood friend Victor Houston, who used to compete with me in Barbados. He's now he was the 1996 decathlon champion, and then now he's a coach at Ohio State, right? So it took me a couple days to run, and here's how my thinking was, right? Coach Kitchens and I didn't even discuss the race the days later, because our view was always championships. So yeah, you ran fast. Who cares? I remember even when I ran the world record in the 55. The next as a senior, I ran 5:99. It's altitude and stuff, but I ran like 6:02 in the heats. I had a bunch of 6:0s right back then when we ran the 55, which probably is like sub 650 back in the day, right? Okay. And I remember coming into the days before the championships, going into coach office, and you know we used to talk all the time. I said, Coach, you never mentioned the 5:99, and he said, well, you didn't bring it up, so I didn't think it was a big thing. I said, nah, and I said, well, how fast do you think I can run the 55? He says 5:95, and I said, I was thinking 5:93. I said, and he said, okay, we'll run 5:94, and that was the end of the discussion. Like the way that we were tracking at that stage in my life, it was like running fast was nothing. Like this, I've not accomplished it because our mission is to win the Olympic Games. And it wasn't really about running fast. It was, oh, I'm building the blocks to get to where we need to be. So me running fast, I'm only running fast to test things. And then we took a lot of breaks between me individually racing. So that's the only, we had a deal after my freshman year, we started looking at the calendar and we would only run fast as needed. Everything else, I'll train, like people might be surprised. In our season, we used to do 450 meters all the way down to May. So by the time I come into championships, rounds can't hurt me because I have so much work in me. And we never even used to do actual like 30s and stuff with speed work. All we used to do was just like rest. You just rest. So we move it down from 450s, and so we do like a 300 breakdown instead of 450, 300 to whatever, right? Instead of doing like 4 250s, we just move it down to like 3 250s, you know, and do quality work at different ways, put cones at different places, work on acceleration patterns, work on different stuff within the race. But apart from that, running fast didn't mean anything to me because if it's not linked to a championship, what does it mean? That's my thinking.
So basically, hold on. I want to do this first because you said something. Because you was like, if it's not big linked to a championship. So just off your honors, You have an Olympic bronze medal. You have a world indoor silver medal. You was ranked 3 times. You made the finals 3 times in the Olympics. You made the World Championships finals. I'm sorry, 4 times. And 4 times you made the World Championship. Let's go over this. World Cup winner, Commonwealth bronze medalist, CAC championship winner, World University Games silver medalist, Grand Prix final silver medalist, CAC Games winner, NCAA champion, Golden League meeting winner, 5-time national champion. I'm not done. Also, Sydney was the bronze in the 100. Commonwealth bronze. World Indoor Championships 99. Johannesburg 98. 95 was the University Games. Central America Caribbean Games, you own that from 93 to 2001. Like, it literally says gold, 93 gold, 95 gold, 95 gold, 99 gold, 99 gold, 01 gold, 95 silver on the relay. So the whole notion of what you're saying as far as I train for championships or we train for championships, your resume says the exact same thing. Because it's one of those things to where, yeah, you have the win date at time and you have plenty fast times. But I would just go on record and say a lot of people don't know you, not because of the age generational gap, but because of what you just said. It was like you didn't really know me because I wasn't spending every single weekend trying to drop a fast time. It was, we just doing this shit so we can get ready for what matters, which is the championship. And I think a lot of athletes like yourself throughout history has gotten lost in that to where you don't really remember Francis Obaquelu, even though he done got silver medal gold. He done did that. You don't remember him because he only really trained to go to the championship. It wasn't every weekend you see his name somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And you one of those athletes the exact same way. It's like y'all are legends in your own right because, okay, well, guess what? We didn't drop as many sub 10 as a Sapa Powell, but my championship record says I look better than Sapa Powell. You see what I'm saying?
So, I like the Sapa Powell's money for my career. Well, yeah,
real good.
Yeah, but there's a mix. If I had to do it again, right? Mm-hmm. Because I'm gonna share this with you, and okay, so you're gonna get some insight into my mind. I actually never planned to become a professional athlete. My goal was to win the Olympics at 96, retire on the spot, and just live life. Like, I love the sport, but I wanted to do something that was totally unheard of, which is beat the system outside by doing something no one had ever thought of. So the way that I conceptualized it was never a career in track and field. Now, looking back as an older person, I would have done things a lot differently. I would have raced more, right? Especially as a professional, because there are things that I think are important, right? With racing more frequently. And then by the time the injuries came, I'll tell you one of the more frustrating things about life was back in the around 2000, 2001, it was World Athletics now, but IAAF had a ranking system. So track and field news was always the gold standard. So in 2000, I ranked number 3 in the world in the 100 and 200, right?
I miss track and field news. They need to bring that shit back. They need to bring that back.
Yeah.
I miss that magazine.
And in World Athletics, I was number 3 in the 100. And believe it or not, I was ranked number 1 in the world in the 200 for several weeks. Mm-hmm. But I never ran an outdoor 200 meters from Sydney final until 2005 because I was hurt. So imagine being number 1 in the world. You see your ranking balloon to number 1, and I can't even run. I can't even train. And it's one of those things where you look at your life and think, man, my prime years are gone. Like, when I'm really going to be starting to kill it, it's gone. And even looking back at, and I don't feel bad about it, I've come to peace with it, that I've had an extraordinary career and generally life, I feel extremely blessed. But even in 1996, I don't think I'd reached a level of my running even since then. Like, I can tell you the level that I was dialed in is like over do 250s, 300s. I could tell you to a tenth of a second what time I was doing. Like I was so dialed into rhythm and running, it was crazy, and everything was like, okay, check, 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 check. You're on course. Check, check, check. This fast time. Check. Oh, you can't walk for a couple of days. Okay, and then I came back to conference a couple of weeks later, and it was my groin, and I felt my groin, and I was like, ugh. And then I come to the NCAA championships outdoors '96. I felt my groin again in the 100 semifinals. I was like, and then coach told me, you don't have to run the semis, the 200. And I thought, man, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to crush this record. And that's me being silly at 20 and not understanding. Despite what your mind says, there's certain physical realities. If you're injured, the weather's changing. You're not Superman, dude. And I got off the turn and I was ready to drop something nasty. And the body just said no. And I don't think since '96, I've pretty much been Humpty Dumpty since that 969.
You have been.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you that too. But before we do that, let me go ahead and bring in my boy Nat. Let me come on. Nat with the stats. Turn your camera on, sir. Damn, turn your camera
Yo.
on, sir.
Finally, man, you hear me?
Not them bull crap stats.
Top best.
Yeah, we can hear you close to the Wi-Fi. Like I was saying though, Obadele. So
How you doing?
my question I was gonna ask
Yep.
you. After you hit that 9.6, do you feel like because you pushed your body to that limit? I mean, and then again, we're talking about 9.6 before there was red light therapy, before there was compression boost, before there was, the whole ice sauna they got now. We're talking about 9.6 before there was anything other than ice bath to recover your body. Do you think going that fast, that soon, affected your career to where you really couldn't stay healthy after that?
Oh yeah, that was definitely the fault line that cracked things open for me. Even looking back at my career at UTEP, people used to joke and say, "Oh, but you're anemic. You're allergic to weights." Because and it was the stupid part of me being young and not understanding. The only lifts I ever did, we didn't have like a real structured lifting program. We did a lot more of the track stuff. So I did a lot of the longer stuff, like I said. I did deadlifts, I did some squats, and I did bench press, and I did kind of like a few arm curls. I never did an Olympic lift until as a professional athlete. Never did med ball throws, never did hurdle hops. So a lot of the things that people now do as just standard, my body wasn't prepared to handle what happened, and then the therapy wasn't in place. You're talking about college therapy in the mid 1990s, as you said. So I think had I come along at this time where there's just so much in place in terms of people having that knowledge and the equipment to be able to help you with recovery, it would have been different. But absolutely, that changed the trajectory of my career. There's the good and the not good about it. The good is that people got to know me. The not good about it is I had to live with the reality that, hey, you push yourself to a limit that, and you just pay the price for the rest of your career. That happens though.
That's kind of what I saw. Brother Nat, first let's get this out the way. Nat, these people are going to, you be in the comments, Nat. You be in the comments. These people are going to eat you alive if you don't fix your phone and your camera or whatever you using. You already know they're going to crucify you.
I'm about to go look at the comments right now.
I'm looking at what they going to crucify him. Nat, do what I'm going to do for you, baby. You better get off. Hey, Nat know what time it is. Nat, you better get off and get that shit fixed, boy, because these folks going to tear you apart. But anyway, since you here and we still got you for a little while, I want to get you in on this stuff that we're talking about right now. So check this out. Here's my first question I want to ask both of y'all. Who had the better season opener between Hobbs and Sha'Carri? Who had the better season opener? And it's a good question because one was legal, one was not. in case y'all didn't know, Hobbs went 10-8 legal, and Sha'Carri went 10-77. I'm sorry, 10-5 Wendy, which the conversions converted to 10-77. But who had the better season opener?
I'll defer to coach and let him answer that first, and then I'll hop in.
I will tell you, for me, if we're looking at it from a competitive standpoint, the better season opener was Sha'Carri because of who she beat in her race. That matters. I've been lucky enough to be around some good coaches where they say, hey, if you beat them, they're gonna be thinking about that for the next race and the next race after that, this and the third. Now, if you're looking at it from a technical standpoint, Aaliyah Hobbs was a pretty good race, but I mean, let's be honest, she's running against a bunch of collegians. But it's cool to run against a bunch of collegians, but when you're head and shoulders better than everybody else, you kind of say, okay, she's healthy, she's opening up, she's running faster than she has this time last year. So for me, the most impressive one was Sha'Carri because of who she beat in that race. And even though people were saying this Maramon's a home track, this and the third, still, there's 9 lanes. She had 8. I think she had 9 or 8 ladies in that race. She beat them. So to me, Sha'Carri had the better opener just off of that. Forget the time. Off of that alone, the fact that she beat them, that hands down was the better performance.
Let's put Nat with the stat on the fans first. Oh, Nat, hope you got that shit fixed. He still ain't got it fixed. Nat, you better get that shit. I'm trying to tell you, you better get right next. You better get right next to the computer, Nat. There you go. Nat, you better get right next to your Wi-Fi, sir. I'm talking about you better get right next to it because you ain't right.
This is better. There we go. This on my phone. The laptop's no good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to hold my phone up for 4 hours now.
Nat, welcome to the show, baby. You know the question.
Yay, what's up, man? Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on.
This is NLS Performance. This is the genius himself. This is
not genius, man. That's too strong.
Right all the time. But anyway, Nat, what's that, baby?
What's up, man?
I want to know your opinion because you're so like numbers when it comes to everything. So you tell better season opener. Which one? By your standards.
What, the best one?
Out of Sha'Carri and Aaliyah Hobbs. Because we got because American women got the weird
Sha'Carri all day.
Okay, well go ahead with your explanation of Sha'Carri's. Go ahead. Let me hear.
Oh, I don't, as much as I'm into the stats, the wind conversion stuff don't exactly excite me. She ran 10.57 or 4.1. I'm not converting that. That's the time. That's the wind. For me, impressively, just the way she looked from 30 onwards, she looks great. She's stepping, top speed looks good. She looks like she did in 2021 pre-trials and going into trials. So, that's something that I would be. For me, Hobbs don't look like she's got that 0 to 60 that she had indoors yet. So I don't know what training phase they're in, but she looks a bit loaded. But we'll see about that. I'm not the coach, so I don't know.
Go ahead, your turn, sir. Go ahead. What you got?
I think their assessments. I agree with their assessments. I did not see Hobbs' race. I only know the times. I saw Sha'Carri's run. It was impressive, and I think the most important. I'm actually looking at Hobbs' race right now, so on the other screen, just so I can see it. Impressive, yes, in terms of the time. I think she ran 10.75 with like 2.1 or something win or whatever, and then backs that up with exactly. So and then backs that up. It's her home track, and I think more than anything else, it's the momentum that she has. As Coach said, she hasn't really had that pop off the track since 2021, and I think that version of her was a huge problem for a lot of people. So I haven't broken it down and slowed it down and done all that stuff because I usually don't do that for the first races or so in the season. I like to have a larger body of work to judge someone by. But if she can, I don't want to get too far ahead into anything else, but that to me was more impressive. But then again, you also have to consider, as Nat said, he's not the coach. And so one of the big things about analyzing performances, did you do what the coach asked you to do? If you did it, the times eventually will come. If you are,
Exactly.
if the health is there and the system is if the program is correct. If you are way beyond where you're supposed to be, it's impressive, but it could be more problematic in the long run. So I'll
That's
leave it
true.
at that. On its face, though, I would say Sha'Carri definitely looked more impressive.
See, with let me jump in
Go ahead,
because
man. Go ahead, baby.
now I got a few angles sent to me for Sha'Carri's race from the side. So at 60, I had her at 685 and the last 40 at 372, which that's a problem because even windy or not, that's Flojo and Elaine territory. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see the minimal breakage
Coach,
in her ankle and her knees?
Hey, Coach.
Meant that did you see that stiff leg with that power
Coach,
shoes
you're gonna not let
pulling
me
into
get my
that track?
you're gonna not let me get my take, Coach?
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. My bad. My bad. Go ahead, man.
Hey, look, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I gotta be the voice of reason, okay? Hobbs had the better season opener, okay? Sha'Carri looked the best, okay? She had the best time, okay? She had the fastest time, even if you converted. But what I'm looking at, I have to look at it from the eyes of I can never not be a trainer. I can never not be the person looking at errors, flaws, looking at the whole races, right? The reason why I say Aaliyah Hobbs had a better season opener is because Aaliyah Hobbs broke the 60-meter record. How many weeks ago was that? Like 3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, about that.
Like 3-4 weeks ago, right? She went through a hand surgery. And I don't know if y'all ever ran track, but if you have a fractured hand, you're not putting that hand down and do no block work. It's not happening. I don't know if you've ever had a fractured hand, but you're not doing this action. You're not doing that. You're not swinging your hand after that. You're not. You're in a cast.
No, you're right, Ray. You're right. And she
So-
looked better this week than she did at the end of that ankle last week. So
She looked a lot better. So the reason why I say she had a better season opener is because I put everything into the pot. So you mean to tell me, okay? You mean to tell me you haven't done nothing in at least a month. So you're not fresh at all. And we all can attest to you not being fresh because you broke your hand, okay? So you had to sit out for about a month, ain't really been able to train, but then your body can give you a legal 10-8. Now we're comparing it to Sha'Carri. Sha'Carri ain't took no week off or no month off, right? She been priming. She ain't had no. You should look just like this. Now here's the other thing I'm gonna say. I'm a creature of habit. There's certain things that's gonna happen. If you come catch Ray Edwards at UNT, your ass is grass. That's why I still my name on the track, my name on the meet. That's my meet. I feel better at that competition. I'm comfortable. If you and then Coach, you know this. If you come to KU relay, you gonna catch hell with Hobson Choice. Maurice had to come and catch hell. He lost to Mark Jill when Jeff was 19. Why? We're comfortable on that track. We keep going there. So when I put everything into perspective, I'm like, I expect you to run that fast, Sha'Carri. Had you not ran that fast, I'd have been shocked because that's what I led on RaesTake. Like, no, she gonna drop the hammer tomorrow. Here's why. So I can't say it was an impressive season opener if I already said she was gonna do that. Now, Leah Hobbs coming back with a 10-8 off of no training, and I'm getting back into the swing of it. To me, that's more impressive. Now, the only reason why I'm saying it's more impressive is because you had more things against you. Now, if we're solely talking about the performance, of course, Sha'Carri wins hands down. But the question was not who had the better performance over the weekend. The question was who had a better season opener. Okay, because we got to look at that context. Like, who opened their season up better? If you open your season up, and we'll say legally, if you open your season up with 9-6 legal, and somebody else open up with 9-9, they ain't a good opener to me. Why? Because that shit ain't gonna be on the back end. We're talking about season opener. Same thing here. You open your season up with 10-7 as a season opener. Season opener, I don't think it's a good season opener. I think it's a great performance, but not if we're saying season opener. No, you don't want to come out that fast to open your season up. That's just me personally. So that's
Ray, no, I'll let Coach go. I see some flaws in what you're saying, but I understand you. I see some flaws.
This is
But I'll let you go on.
This is every week. This is every week.
I'll defer. It's called RaesTake, so
Yeah.
I'm just a guest. I know my role.
If we're talking performance, all right. The reason why I'm not looking at the time aspect because one had a 2.0, the other one had a 4.1. So it wasn't fair elements. They both won weather, but it wasn't fair elements. Let's be honest, because ain't no telling if Aaliyah Hobbs was down there in Miramar what she could have ran. But that's even here. No, there's all speculation. Okay, I'm talking about performance wise. I'm not worried about the time. I'm talking about who that girl beat and who Aaliyah Hobbs beat. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at who they beat. So to me, the better opener based on who was in those races.
Who did Sha'Carri beat?
The who's who American track and field.
Always gonna beat because she ain't afraid of her. I don't count TT Terry as a threat when it comes to Sha'Carri. So if you talking about beating her, that's a normal. That's a given.
Hey, listen. TT Terry was in the semifinals of the World Championships, right?
She was.
Okay. Melissa Jefferson was in the finals of the World Championships, right?
She was.
Cambia Sturgis also is a legitimate, 10. She's a 10-9 sprinter. Give her that. 10-9. Give her that. Right? No, I'm not reaching. We talking about.
MJ was in that race too, though. The US.
Who was in that? Who?
MJ. She was in that too.
Melissa Jefferson was in there. So I get what you're saying about the comfortability, but at the end of the day, man, those were still that was still a more better and more competitive field.
I'm gonna disagree with you because of something that Obadele said.
How is it not a better competitive field?
No, here's why. Because at that track meet, at that particular time, you can't really say she beat the people that matter because think about what we always say when people train. It's the same thing Obadele said. We don't know that Melissa Jefferson is ready to sprint. We don't know that Tamari Davis is ready to sprint. We don't know that because it's the first weekend of April. So it's hard to say, look at who she beat. Well, you know how these folks, prime example, Fred Curley is on a hill right now. So therefore, he lined up next to Christopher Coleman, he's probably going to lose. But you only losing based on the year. So that's the only reason why I can't give you that, look at who she beat. Well, it's April. Like, we don't know what the rest of them, the people in the race might not even be sprinting yet. I can go on record and say, I know for a fact.
Then don't show up. If you're not ready, then don't show up.
Okay,
yeah, I
Rick.
agree with that, man.
We gotta work. We gotta go through the motions.
You know what? You know what? I concede the floor to Mr. Thompson.
No. Okay. So Ray, it's two things, right? You asked about better, and then you try to parse it and say, well, you're not talking about performance. So here's the challenge that we have with this, right? We are in a performance-based sport. That's it, right? So one of there are a couple metrics that we look at, right? One is the time, and the other is the quality of the competition. Who had at the end of the weekend, who faced stiffer competition, and who had the better time? I don't know. I understand the other things that you had to, but hold on. When remember, like even the old track and field news thing, right? They will look at head-to-heads,
yeah,
the performances. So if she runs 10-7, even if it's windy, and then comes back with it because there was a heat, right? And then she comes back, so proving that it's her home track. We give you that. They're windy performances, but it's not only that. She beat them going away. She didn't, and Hobbs beat them going away, but it was at LSU, right? Which is basically home track, right? Yeah, go on.
No, Ober's right. Ray, if you base it on that track and field news system, in '97 they had Frankie ahead of Mo because he beat him head to head all year, but he didn't win worlds and he didn't have the world leader. So
correct.
Same kind of.
What y'all saying is right
now, Sha'Carri number one there. Right now,
season opener than Aaliyah Hall.
Yes, sir.
Season opener. Keen on the word season. opener.
Better season opener.
Season opener.
Better season opener. You're the one who posed the question. So
Hey, look. I think all y'all crazy, but hell, is that what y'all think gonna say?
no. Hold on. Wait. You didn't get to the question of what happens if the two of them face each other. That's not the question. The question was, what is the better season opener? And I think when you consider things that people generally consider when they assess an athlete's performance, the time, the quality of the persons that they face, the fact that it was more than one race, which can go either way depending on how you look at it. But the two performances seem to be within a narrow band for Sha'Carri, a relatively narrow band when you do the conversions and stuff like that. But there's nothing, you can't take it away from Hobbs, because based on what you said, I didn't know she was injured. So I completely understand if she's coming off of that and doing this so close to her personal best and looking like this, she is definitely, if she holds nerves and everything together and stays healthy, she is definitely going to be a problem and continue to be a problem, a big problem, at least in the U.S.
We'll go on to the next topic because it's still that one. But I'll just say it like this here. I personally believe if you take a month off and you come back and you look like how Leah Hobbs just did, and you drop a time that most women can't even drop with a full year of training, I got to give it to you. Because I got to go in the aspect of, okay, well, shit, what if you wasn't hurt? What if you wasn't hurt? Or I got to go in the aspect of, like y'all said, she raised a bunch of girls straight out of study hall. I raised people out of study hall that gave me no push, and I still dropped 10-8. Now, what would I have did if I had an actual push?
You better run 10-9. But here's the thing, Ray. Like, there's such a thing as 1A and 1B. The better doesn't mean it's bad. You can score 100 and a person scored 99.5 and you did better than them, but they're both excellent. So what we're here doing is we're trying to parse for two excellent runs, different circumstances, and we're trying to say, okay, based on things that we would normally consider when we analyze runs, who checks more boxes? And I think this weekend it should go to, because what we don't consider.
I would go with the check more boxes. I would go with that.
Okay, good.
I would go completely with that. I would go with Sha'Carri looked amazing. She did. She looked out. I put the side view up on my YouTube channel. Y'all ain't watched it. When she got to 60, she stepped. She stepped on their necks. Okay? But again, my key word is C-zone. Not week-owned. C-zone opener? I don't think that's a season opener. But we do right there.
Hold on. There's also one component. There's another component to consider. And it's the fact that whenever Sha'Carri runs, there's always going to be pressure. Hobbs comes out, no one really cares one way or the next about what she does. She could have run 11-1 and people say, if Sha'Carri comes and runs 11-1 and someone runs 10-9, it's like, oh, she's washed up. She isn't going to get it together. Has she helped to create that monster and that expectations? Surely. But that's something that should not necessarily be easily discounted. The fact that she is always the target because she has made herself a target, often because of her mouthpiece and her antics.
I agree there. I think last year she had a better year than what people give her credit for. I agree.
I really do. We're going to go to the next topic, but I'm going to address that topic right there from Sha'Carri's favorite person who I just put in
Beyonce Stan.
First of all,
if
Melissa Jefferson ran 10:57 with a 4.1, I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone at that point in time with the whole camp. The fuck y'all? What are y'all doing? Like, that what Ray doing. No, we don't need that right now. Well, why would you do that? If that had happened there, it'd been a whole nother tune, because now, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, that's not the game that everybody's supposed to be playing right now. You know what I'm saying? So I just answer that question that way. Like, if Melissa had ran 10.5 this weekend, I would have been on the phone before she crossed the finish line. And know it. I've been on the phone. Boy, what is you doing?
and Ray, you're really right about that, because I remember being at a workout at UTEP, and the guy Andrew Tynes, who I mentioned, we were doing 200 at practice, and we never used to run very, very fast in 200s. And we came off the turn. Like, he's one person I never, ever, ever, ever crossed the line before in a practice. Like, even when I was better than him, I never crossed there's some people who will not let you cross the line first in practice. And I remember we came off the turn and we were just moving. And coach is screaming at us, slow down, slow. So we ran and he looked at the time and he says, workout's over. You guys just messed up my workout. So to your point, right, if an athlete is that far ahead of the curve, it really puts things into question and presents some big problems for a coach this far out from championships.
Okay, well, let's ask the next question then that we got on the topic list. Were y'all surprised by that performance that Sha'Carri put down?
Yes. I don't think anyone on earth thought she would run 10.5 in any conditions.
Go ahead, Nat. I'll let you finish.
No, that was what we weren't surprised.
Hell
Ray,
no, I wasn't surprised at all.
So you must be at practice then watching her.
No, let me tell you why. And I'm gonna say I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. Sha'Carri is the greatest female sprint prospect to come out of the college ranks in damn near close to 5 decades. We cannot recall anyone that. The only reason why I say that is because Allison Felix really didn't run in college.
She didn't.
Okay? She didn't run in college. Veronica Campbell spent most of her college years at a junior college. She only spent 1 year at Arkansas. And she didn't even run at the NCAA championships. Okay. When you look at that, when you look at the famed Tennessee State Tiger Bells and all those famous legendary sprinters that came out of there, the Chandra Cheeseborough and all those other magnificent women, you have to look at what this young girl has been doing. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. This young woman has been doing. Her doing what she did, I'm not surprised because she does that in Florida all the time. She opened up. Remember when she's running in Florida, she will run those crazy times all the time. Now the question should be, how's she gonna maintain it?
Oh, we'll get to that later. We'll get to that later.
Or July. Whenever USA's is.
Were you surprised about her run when you heard about it?
Yeah, the 10:57 for sure. If this was 2 years ago, no. I didn't expect it to come. I expected her to run fast. You probably put a battery in her back, Ray. But she's always running with that chip on her shoulder, and it's her own track. And as you said, the last couple of years, she's proven that when she's comfortable, and I don't think she probably viewed, to your point, I don't think she viewed anyone in that race as a threat. I mean, I remember like races I'd come in, and regards to who's there, like they don't exist. Like it's empty lanes. Right? It's body heat and people that are there, but they don't exist. I don't think anyone existed to her. She was in a tunnel. She ran. I didn't expect 57. If it was like, and it converts, I guess, to the 70s. So there is my expectation. But to see 57 was like, whoa, because apart from the Jamaicans, you haven't been seeing anything like that.
Well, the 10.5 did not shock me. It didn't surprise me at all. Because as soon as she ran 10.5, they announced it was a 4.1 tailwind. So, and that with the stats, he already told us what that converted to, 10.77. So for me, it wasn't a surprise because again, she ran when she broke the collegiate record. What year was that?
2019.
Yeah.
So how many years ago was that?
4.
So 4 years ago, she ran 10.72, right?
75, yeah.
5.
10.75. 10.75 4 years ago. All right. You done been in the sport long enough to where you tapped 10.7 already. You've had your ass tapped by the Jamaicans already. You've had that bad season, which was last year when you didn't make it out the first round. You've had the controversy that surrounded you. You've had the whole issue that happened with me and you. And you're finna go to Miramar right now where you're comfortable at. No, she's about to drop. I said it. She's about to drop something crazy tomorrow because it's in her. 10.5 is only crazy because we're saying 10.5. But when you put the 4.1 in it, well, no, that's what she should have did.
That's true.
She should have came out and ran 10.77. She was a 10.72 runner 4 years ago. So you should be opening up by now with 10.7. Again, we can use Shelly, for example. Shelly opened up last year with 10.6. You should. Like how many times have you ran 10.6? Yeah, you should open up right around that area.
Listen, if Shelly opens up 10-6 this year, boy, I quit.
But we ain't talking about this year. But I'm just saying in general, like I was not surprised when
You're gonna have to get ready to quit, coach.
I was not surprised at all because at the end of the day,
She will.
one thing you gotta give Sha'Carri is she has that dog in her. Now the Jam Rock has been able to tame that dog, but she has it in her to where if it's just her and there is no Dina Asher Smith, I'm gonna call out the people who finish in front of her. If there's no Dina Asher Smith, if there's no Elaine Thompson, if there's no Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, damn near Sharika's on the end. If there's no Sharika, what does she do?
It's you're missing one person who, if they're healthy, and I don't know because they're aging, but they seem to be aging well. It's Talu.
There you go.
Talu.
They were disrespecting Talu in the chat, you know.
Yeah, Talu, you know, she's healthy and stuff like that. She's aging like it's crazy. She turns up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I mean, that's the only reason why, like, I wasn't shocked, I wasn't surprised at all. What would have
No,
I would have been more surprised had she lost to TT. That would have shocked the shit out of me. Like I'm being 100% honest. Had she lost, that was gonna be the shocker for me because I'm like, ain't no man, y'all smoking crack. Because there's a lot of folks that were saying TT was gonna win. TT, I said, boy, y'all smoking crack. If y'all think TT Perry's gonna come out here tomorrow and be scared, I ain't know what. Now, had that happened, that would have been for me to shock. Like you dropping 10-7 is not shocking to me. So, but anyway,
yeah.
move right along because we got the rest of the show to do.
All right, hold on. Quick question for you. Quick question for you, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's gonna have more of a toll on her body? A windy 10.57 or a 10.77 with no wind? Because they're the same effort. Obviously,
They're
it's
not the
a
same,
higher. No, they're the same effort.
They not the same.
The intensity is different.
Come here for a second. I'm about to use it right in the gym. They not the same at all, baby. They not the same at all. They when I say they are worlds apart, even Obadele checking it like they worlds apart.
No.
Najee Warner, come here for a second. Just get in the show.
No.
All right. Najee Warner. Y'all know Najee Warner. Najee Warner. You're a master trainer, right? You got certificates and degrees and shit that date back to before I was even born. All right. I'm not telling the folks you that old what you do. All right. You smart as shit when it comes to the body. All right. Now here's the question that the man is asked. Okay. Will a 10-7 versus a 10-5 affect your body the same in the long run?
10-5 is going to wear you out.
Why?
Because you only have so much output you can put out. From a nervous system standpoint, if you're running 10-5, the amount of nervous system energy, forget about the muscle stuff. Okay?
No. Not about ground contact time and the force, absolutely.
Has to have time to recover from that. And if you're constantly cranking that and doing it, you're toast. Your body cannot function. If you're doing like a max lift all the time, you're doing PRs, all these idiots doing PRs all the time. I did a PR. Dude, get a PR once a month. That's it. You start doing PRs every week. You know where you're going to be? In bed for the rest of the year, trying to recover from all the PR after PR after PR. No matter what you put in you, your body can only withstand so much.
It can only withstand so much. It can only withstand so much. So to answer that question, thank you, John Jeremy Warner. You can go back in the kitchen and do what you're doing. Answer that question. He just answered it for you. That 10-5 gonna hurt, baby. 10-7 legal is okay. It's still a little but no matter what, your body, your cells, your muscles, you're seeing that system, your brain said 10.57. It didn't give a damn how it did it. It didn't care if it was win or not. It said, I just went 10.5. So to answer your question, that 10.77 would not have hurt it as bad because, again, technically it's not a PR. Now, we got to keep in mind that PRs, we justify PRs as under 2.0. But the body don't know that. The body says the fastest I've ever ran is 10.57. Just
but
like
then Ray
said, the fastest his body ever ran was 9.6. It didn't give a damn about the win. It said, I just went there. So I got to recover from that. I don't know that it was a win behind me, so I ain't got to put too much in recovering my body. It don't see it that way.
But then the flip side to that coin is 10.77 to minus 1.2. She has yet to surpass that effort.
But her body
intrinsically. So
even with that, even that 1.2, it's still on reserve. 10.77 is not.
But how can
CNS
it be on
system
reserve
fire.
if she's got to have a bigger output to get through the wind?
That is true. You talk about Mount Sac, Nate?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I know where you're going. Yup. I know exactly where you're going with this. Yup. I'm on your side, sir. I'm with you on this one.
I see where you're trying to go with it, but it's.
No, I hear what you're saying. Of course, she needs to take a few days off.
It's harder, Nat. It's harder to work through that. So that's a whole different. Again, you're asking your CNS system to do two totally different things.
Okay.
It's a whole lot harder to bench press 225 10 times, right? But you can recover from that in a day. Go bench press 185 25 times and see what you feel like the next day. Power versus speed, completely different taxing on the muscles, on the CNS system. That 10.5 is way different than hit a 1077 with a headwind.
Yeah, it's like being on it. It's like working out with a speed belt.
Yeah, that's all.
And right, So what it does to your central nervous system and your coordination as well. A lot of people don't realize. When people ask, the workouts hurt differently. There's a difference between doing like 6 to 10, 60 meters, right? What it does to your central nervous system versus like 4 or 5 300s. They hurt for sure, but the tax on the central nervous system, I'm sure Ray and others who have run know that you get deep into your well, you can barely walk. Your coordination and everything starts to fall apart. There, times after practice where you just have to sit to wait for things to become coordinate again. And what we used to do was like throw the medicine ball so that you could just coordinate again before you even try to drive a car or anything.
And I see that's a great point that you brought up regarding the belt and the overspeed. And this could get into another topic, but personally, I think that's why Jacobs is getting beaten up all the time. But
Jacobs is an interesting topic.
That's definitely a topic.
That's an interesting topic.
Also in Miramar, we had another thing I told you I was going to happen, which was Christian Coleman ran off on the field in 200.
He did.
Christian Coleman was in lane 5. Kung Fu Kenny was in front of him.
No, Kenny was in 4. Tobogo's in 6.
There it went. I'm sorry.
That's cool.
And Christian Coleman rolled the shit out of that dang on first leg.
I had him at 10:30 on the turn, Ray, which in that weather that's good.
Yeah. So Nat, what did you have him broke down at?
Pardon?
Didn't you have his stats like broke down at 200?
Yeah, I had Coleman at 10:31 and Tobogo at 10:49. So it was a pretty sizable gap.
Ooh.
Shit.
And then he did run him down.
Okay, so the question is Christian Coleman... See, here's the thing. I'm going to say it. I effing hate the word back. Because you can't go back in history. So if folks be like, she back or he back. No, it's just a newer version of themselves. There ain't no back. So I'm going to say this. Does Christian Coleman look like a better version of himself to where he can go back to contention at that top 3 in the 100? I don't know. I'll speak at one time.
All right. So here's a couple things. One, I see you quoting LL Cool J, don't call it a comeback. Right. So who do you define as a top 3? Because that is
that's true.
I'm talking America from last year.
Well, top 3 from America from last year.
Trayvon, and Brayson.
Well, when you analyze Christian over the years, he's going to give you 1990 to 20 flat, right? So there's really been no progress in his 200-meter running over the past 5 years. He ran 9.8 in college, 19.8 in college, right? And then he was light years ahead of everyone else in 2019. With the only person close was the aging Gatlin. And then, the gap was so significant. One of the things to me about what unfortunately happened to Christian in terms of him being out from the sport is with the super shoes coming in. I'm not going to get too deep into the super shoes. That's a whole, but it's a reality. It's something real. right? It's that more people are in contention and closer to him, right? At a stage of the race where he's used to gapping people. So to me, when I look at this 200 meters, this is about par for the course of where he is at the start of the season. I'm not sure how this translates into the 100 meters. If this was a different type of athlete who, say, is a 20.2 runner and they dropped down to 20 flat, I would see it differently. But the other thing that you have to appreciate about the 200 meters is even though it's a speed endurance, it's actually a speed endurance at a much lower velocity than you see in the prime part of the 100 meters. So what happened, what we saw last year is Coleman struggling, right, with people being on his shoulder at a phase of the race, the 100 meters, that he wasn't used to, and him becoming tight. And so the 200 meters just shows, guess what? I have speed endurance. I can probably, in terms of warming up for rounds and everything else, but it hasn't necessarily solved the issue or proven anything about when in the heat of the battle between 40 to 70, when these guys are now on my shoulders, will I stay relaxed? And do I have the confidence and the technical ability to maintain in the last 50 meters of the race and be the player or at least at the head of the pack? Because he's such an amazing and consistently good starter, he's always in the race. But it's that critical zone where I think people are no longer afraid of him. And I think the technology and everything that's transpired with him being out of the game, it's a far more even feel than when he was operating in 2019.
Coach, I'm just moving spots. I need to start.
Listen, what do I think? Do I think Christian Coleman is going to be a threat? Look, I keep telling folks that people keep forgetting, regardless of what y'all may think, the man ran 9.87 last year.
Correct.
Yep.
He ran, I think he opened up 9.92 in the prelims and 9.87 in the semis that he decided to pull out of the finals. Okay, so something is there. And Oba is correct. Oba's 1,000% correct on everything that he said about the speed endurance and this and the third. Listen, you and I are both know it's easier to get speed endurance than it is to get max speed. Once you lose that max, you start to lose max speed after 3 to 5 days away from doing that type of stuff. But you only do that so many times out of the week, unless you're Ben Johnson. And I'm not going to go there. Christian is going to be fine, but I will tell you right now, this Mount Sac race, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, is going to say a lot about who's going to finish where. Because Michael Norman is opening up in the 100.
That boy nasty.
So
No.
we're going to okay. All right.
No.
All right. All right.
No.
All right.
No.
All right.
Norman is really interesting, but that's another discussion too.
Listen,
Ray, did you not see that first leg the other week?
Ray, let me explain something to you.
Explain it, sir.
You do understand Michael Norman was a 1-2 guy that moved up to the court.
Yeah. Yes. Keep going with the past tense stuff. Come on with
Okay, you do understand that Michael Norman has ran under 10 seconds every time he's ran the 100 as a professional, right?
Yes. Come on, baby.
And that's with him training for the quarter.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, so now you're going to tell me that he doesn't have a fighting chance?
Not in hell. Not against Christian Coleman. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Again,
Oh, wait.
I'm gonna have to
Ray,
tell
you told me in DMs Norman's going to run 9.7. So what you got Coleman at 9.6?
No. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell both y'all like I always do. We talking about tomorrow. We talking about this weekend. The same thing I said to everybody last week. They kept talking about, man, no, we're talking about this weekend. Damn on down the line. This weekend at this Mount Sac, there's no way on God. I'm not gonna say that because it can happen, but I'm gonna say it like this. At this Mount Sac, no, sir. Did y'all not hear what I said about the eye test when it came to damn Christian Coleman? When Frazier told me the same thing, I said, Frazier ain't no way in hell. And then I saw my own eyes at Texas Relays. And I told y'all on RaesTake, I said, boy, Christian Coleman gonna whoop them in at 200. I'm telling y'all, the CC that I seen, if we're talking about the 100 versus Michael Norman, sir, you ain't got a chance. Why? The CC from 0 to a 60, Michael Norman, you're nowhere close to him. You're not going to catch this new Christian Coleman in
Ray, but nobody said that. I said We got to watch this Mount Sac race because it's gonna be very interesting. It's going to shape. It's going to shape a lot of things.
Coleman gonna win by 10 meters. What's
Okay.
interesting?
Who's in the race? I don't know the lineup. Who's in the race?
Coleman, Norman, Bowling. You got Michael Williams as well. It's a stacked field.
It's
I don't see. It's interesting that Norman's going to throw his hat into the 100 meters. There's no doubt that he's fast. I mean, you don't run 986, then 997 and 1976 without speed. To have it as his first 400 meters of the season, things can happen. I'll be really surprised. I'm with Ray on this particular one. At this stage of the season, to me, it when you come down, like people look at me as, okay, a 100-meter runner sometimes. But what I really was a 2-4 kind of person that I needed to get comfortable and in a rhythm to drop down. And then I could, once I'm comfortable in my running rhythm, I can just make that faster. But I had to control my body and get my feeling together. That's the type of runner who I think Norman is, who is a rhythm runner that at this stage of the season may not be a player, but once he figures out the pieces of the puzzle, it could be interesting. But I don't see, with no races, no 60 meters, none of that, I find it hard to believe that he'll be in a position to threaten Coleman going 60. And based on my understanding,
him getting second. I ain't even got him getting second.
And that's possible. And that's possible. And that's completely possible, because the other thing to consider is this. There's a difference between, and I mentioned this before, there's a difference between people can run fast and being a professional 100-meter runner. There are a lot of people who have PRs that are incredible, but to be able to come out under pressure, deliver that performance under pressure against other people whose phases of the race are elite. So, there's world class. And then we're talking about arguably, he has a world record, and he's arguably, I don't think you could put him outside the top 5 starters ever in Christian Coleman, right? Who is going to, under normal circumstances, deliver a good start. In fact, one of the things that I found interesting in that race when he raced Noah Lyles is that first start where they call back the false start. He hit angles. He hit some angles that I thought if he hit that start, he's running 640 or better.
I got, I like to do this. I like to call people out. Sir, I've had the list. Can y'all see the shit? I've had the list before y'all even knew it was out there. Okay? So stop playing with me. Y'all sometimes, because we got new guests on here, y'all stand beside yourself. You act like I ain't gonna be the same Ray and call your ass out like I don't see you comment. Just like how your mama tell you. Just because we got guests here, don't act like I won't your ass. All right? Just stop that. Chill out. Just because we got guests here, now you want to start talking crazy in the comments. Well, you better stop. Y'all know it's still the same Ray over here. Now, I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. Like some badass kids, you may continue.
Right. So, and I think Coleman is now racing in the new shoes, because I think last year he was in his old shoes that he was using in 2019, and I think he's upgraded. So that's going to be interesting to see how he performs in that last 40 meters if he's using the newer versions of the shoes with his start. That's going to be interesting to me too.
Mm-hmm. I think that's interesting. I agree with.
I got Michael getting second. I got Chris Coleman winning it, with Michael getting second and Norman getting third. Now here's why. I'm gonna use this right here. My favorite thing I like to say. So what you want me to believe, you got 2 60-meter starters that are great in it. They both don't win 9.8. More recently than the other one. And you want me to believe that the Norman who just pulled out the 400 last week, that's letting us know he really been doing 400-meter training, because he was scheduled to run the 400 at USC last week, pulled out last minute. You want me to believe that Michael Norman is about to finish in front of, not the 200, the 100, in front of Michael and Coleman. On what day?
Who said that?
I feel like that was
No, Ray. Nobody said that, yo. Everybody is saying, hey, it's gonna be interesting how the season plays out after this week. This week's gonna say a lot.
Correct.
That's
Michael
what
must have
we're
pulled out
saying,
for a
man.
reason
I don't
as well.
think this week gonna say anything. I don't think the week gonna say anything.
It could be highly instructive. You know, for example, like we expect, as you said, Coleman and Micah to run their model of the race, get out fast. What is going to be interesting is to see the model that Norman has been working on, and to look at that and see, can this make a dent in 2 months' time into what is going on in global sprinting? And they'll give some insight into, have they worked on his start? What does this acceleration look like? Is he gaining ground, or is he one of these people who needs to gain ground after the 100 meters, like in the 200, where he's going to just have that speed endurance, and it's not really the 10-minute segments. It's not really those 0.84s, 0.85s. What it really is 0.88, 0.89, 0.90s, which is how he's going to get to 1976.
Now you see that I'll interject on, because for Norman's 986, I and a few other statisticians had that at 644 and 342. So his top end is pretty formidable, and he has the second fastest ever to 50 meters on a bend behind Bolt. So I think the boy can start. Obviously, a straight is a bit different, but Ray, you're overlooking that first leg you ran on the relay the other week.
There's a curve.
Okay. And
You talking about Norman's?
Yeah, I'm talking about Norman.
I'm not overlooking Norman nothing, sir.
If he's quicker on the curve, you sure he's gonna be quick on the straight as well?
Hell no.
It's different.
He would not have moved to the 100 if he's not preparing to do something. This is not on a whim. The guy's a world champion before. Why would you switch events like that?
Because you see Fred do it, and you think and they're different personality types.
There's no way he just saw Fred do it and said, "Let me switch up the event."
But you also so here's what's happened, right? You know how many people have lost their careers in the 100 meters? People who should have been the 200-meter runners, long jumpers, something else. The allure of the 100, right? I remember this. The Lord. So this is when it happened to me in 1998, right? Back in the Golden League days, right? The year I came out of college was 1997. That was 200 meters. That was a premier event. Did well there. The next year, you couldn't find 200-meter races anywhere, right? So what basically happened was my agent was like, "You have to learn to run the 100, or there are no races for you." And he would. And so I set a PR 4 times that season, eventually with a 987. But I remember being in Zurich and racing Donovan Bailey in the heats. I think he ran like 10:07, I ran 10:10. We turned up in the finals. He gets injured. I can't remember what I ran. I ran like 10:02, whatever. I came second. And then at the dining hall later on at the hotel, I go over to him to check on him. And he says to me, "There's nothing like it." And I said, "Yeah, you're right. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like looking down that barrel of the 100 meters.
I actually was, but that's
right.
Right, you ran 20 flat. Of course, it was good.
that was great.
So even in 2000, I came into the 2000 Olympics injured. Right, I was injured every single Olympics. Right, and I was going to skip the 100 just to run the 200 because I had a race. I came off the circuit 6 weeks before with an impinged nerve that will flare up at any moment. And the only person beating me in the world in the 100 is Maurice. He beat me in Zurich. He beat me in Monaco. And then I remember I got to Brussels and I couldn't walk. So I flew home and I was going to give up the 100. And then I thought, can you live with yourself? Say you go and you win the 200. Can you live with yourself knowing that you didn't even line up for the 100? And I said, there's no way I can live with myself. Even with the 200-meter title, I got to come and run. Even though I know I was short of training, I was injured. It's something inside of you. That's the lure of the 100 meters. He sees 9.8, and you know what he thinks? I can get to 9.7. And maybe he can.
9.6. Yeah, right.
Maybe. It's in his mind.
2 things. Watch this right here. I'm gonna ask y'all a question. I'm gonna give y'all this. I'm gonna back up what Obadele said real fast. As a freshman in junior college, I got 3rd in the 60 indoors, right? But I won the indoor 200. Okay. Outside, I won the outdoor 200. U.S. Juniors, I went 2051 in 2000. Won the 200. was #1 in the world. Okay. 2003. Same thing. Guess what I ended up doing? Never running the 200 and only running the 100. Why? Because it's that allure of being the fastest man. It's literally that thing of being, I'm the fastest man. And you can only get that from 100 to 200. So it don't, at my whole career, everybody's like, man, want to run 200, want to run 200. Because I can. That shit don't do nothing for me. I want to line up street law. I want to be the fastest man. I don't give a damn about winning. Yes, I can go run this 200 and probably make a team. But I don't care about that because there's people over in this 100 that they call them faster than me. So that's why athletes do it. That's the first thing. Now, the second thing is this right here, because you brought up something about that, his curve. Why is it so hard to run a curve as fast as you can run a straightaway?
Because of the torque of the bend. That's physics.
Yeah, okay, now say the physics about it, though. Why?
Oh, Ray, man, we be here all day. It's longer
We'll sum it up. Gravity and inertia.
Yep.
Right? Gravity and inertia, right? You're fighting gravity and inertia in the curve. So guess what? It's the same way when it comes to cars with NASCAR. If it's a heavier car in that curve versus a lighter car in that curve, all right? So you can't compare that curve and say, well, he had a fast curve. Well, that's because physics allowed him to have a faster curve, okay? That's why when I say when you're talking about speed, take the curve out of it. Because certain people are going to run a better curve because of their body frame, because gravity and inertia, whether we like to try and believe that science don't exist for some reason in track and field, we like to think that people can do shit that is outside the laws of physics. No, his curve is not going to impress me when we're talking about a straightaway. Because
no, I know they're different. I know.
And one of the things is also the fact that on the turn, right, you don't get all the information until later on the turn. Like, okay, the people ahead of you. In the 100, it's instantaneous. Someone gets a step on you. By that first step, someone. So you feel that pressure instantly. In the 200, you can tell yourself, oh, they got out. I'm going to, right? So the way that you approach it, even with that information, you get the information so much quicker, which causes things to move so much faster in your mind.
That's why you have different. Yeah. For me, Carl and Bolt started better on a curve than on a straight. That might be what you're alluding to there.
Who was that?
Carl and Bolt both started better on the curve than a straight, in my opinion.
Yep.
Way better.
Yep. Both of them. Both their curves was way better than their straightaways. So, I just don't, but again, Coach, I know he got that face. First of all, Coach a diehard Michael Norman fan. Let's just put that out there. Coach a diehard Michael Norman fan.
Look,
we all got our fans. All right.
Listen.
But y'all know
Nobody.
Michael Norman and
I'm gonna say it again.
Michael Norman, Grant, and dang on what's my boy from Alabama? Karani? They're free right there. If Al want on say they finna go start playing pickleball, Coach gonna be like, well, back when he was a little kid, he used to eat pickles and play basketball. So it's a good chance he might be great at pickleball. It's them things. I can't.
Well, look, you know why the Karani thing is near and dear to me, because I was at Alabama when he was there. You know what I'm saying? That's family. You know what I mean? That's my kid, man. I was part of the staff, and it was wonderful to watch a freak of nature do what he did. What I'm saying? Like, the stories in practice was just ridiculous. Like, it was crazy. But all I'm saying is you gotta give, we should be sitting back and waiting and seeing how this is gonna play out. Okay? Because I'm not gonna sit back and say, okay, well, Michael Norman is gonna run bad or whatever, and we also got to give him this as well. You do understand that John Smith is working with him, right?
With Michael Norman?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why you gotta sit back. Listen.
Real slow. Ain't no in between with him.
Listen. Oba, how many times you smacked in the middle between HSI athletes?
Yeah.
A lot. It was different when they called position, right? The power output, the force they applied. I still don't think anybody runs 100 more prettier than Maurice Gray with so much force, so much anger, and it still look beautiful. You know, it still look beautiful.
So I have different feelings, but that's for offline conversation. But in terms of one thing that I always give to Maurice, right? And I mentioned this to Ray. It's Maurice. They have the model. Maurice believed in it. You knew Maurice was going to deliver that model.
Yeah.
Any weather, anyone who lines up, you're going to get the model. And that model, it's like I tell people, right? They watch it and they won't want to give away secrets. Sometimes you can know the secrets, but you just can't beat it. You know what he's going to do. He believed in it and he drilled it down, and it was going to come. Rain, sun, headwind, tailwind, championship final or not, it's going to come. And the thing about it is, if I didn't know Norman was working with John, if Norman believes in the system and he internalizes it and he's patient, it can be extremely interesting if he believes in it. Now, the one knock on Norman has been that he seems to get lost. And unfortunately, in the 100, you can't get lost. You have to know your identity for the entirety of the race, or it's game over. So the question is, will he internalize it enough and have put in enough reps for him to actualize what they're probably trying to teach him? So to your point, it could be instructive seeing him. I don't expect winning. What I'm going to look is what model are they using?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the thing I have before we go to the next topic about these men, when we say stuff like this, all right, I like to look at things from myself as being a sprinter, competitive person, how I trained, and then I look at what people are saying. So when we say, when people say stuff like this, or like Norman can do this, and Norman can do that, or whatever, yada, yada, yada. To me, it's the dumbest shit you can say. Because in order for that to be factual, that means everybody who just ran fast in America had to have went home, ate bonbons, and did nothing. Like literally. What you're saying is, after Fred Curley won the world championship, he went home and put his feet up and said, I ain't training no more. After Trayvon Bromell got a bronze when he thought he was going to win, he went home and said, I'm just going to sit in the bubble bath. I ain't going to do nothing else. When Marvin Bracey got his new contract and lost that 100 by this much that he should have won, he went home and said, all right, I made it. When we say stuff like that, it's discrediting people who just did shit. It's like, it shouldn't even be a conversation. Same thing with his race in Mount Sac. It shouldn't even be a conversation. Why? In order for it to happen, you have to discredit everything that this man has done. And I'm
Ray, you're creating a straw man argument. That's not what anyone is saying. No one has ever said on this panel.
Sir, not y'all on the panel. I'm talking to the dumb.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To the stupids.
Oh, those folks. So sorry. Yeah. Go. Yeah. Those folks. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Y'all get it. Back to the stupids. What you're doing is you're discrediting what people have just done. Like, they ain't gonna come back and try and defend what they just did.
Right.
So I'm like, every week, y'all just if it's your favorite runner, like y'all try to say we got favorite runner. If your favorite runner is running, now all of a sudden your favorite runner gonna beat the other people like they ain't been working. That's all I'm saying to the stupids. Because these folks just every week, if Sha'Carri and Elaine race tomorrow, they get it to Sha'Carri. If Fred and Norman race tomorrow, they give it to Norman. Just based off of the name. But at the same time, like, well, look at the other person they look at them did too. That got something to do with, But
professional.
Next topic.
Hold on, Ray. To clarify, again, there's a difference between running fast times and being a professional in that event. And I ran fast times, and in 1998, I learned to become a professional. I was an NCAA champion. I was a world junior record holder in 100. I learned to become a professional athlete because I was forced to become in 1998. There is a difference.
There's a complete There is a complete difference, and I'm in a serious topic. I want the fans to get that. This shit is a for real profession. If you don't learn that straight away, if you don't shoot that free throw, what I call shooting a free throw, if you don't go through that motion over and over and over and over and over and over again, it's gonna be hard for somebody who don't do it as much as you to come over here and just take it. That's just that. Now, with that being said, my question is, where are the men at for USA? Because the women have, and that's it, you in timeout. That's why I love being a boss and having power. And watch this. Owen, you won't get to say nothing else or be on the show for the next 10 minutes. Goodbye. So, like I was saying, leads me to my next topic. Where are the U.S. men, the top 100-meter runners? Where are they at? As far as Bracy, Fred, Romeo. They ain't did nothing yet, but we've seen our women. So what are we to think about the U.S. men right now? Not opening up, not running hundreds. And I'm not talking about everybody running 100. I'm talking about the 3 that made it last year. We have yet to see them do anything in open 100.
Well, we all know, you and I both know what's going on with one of them. Let's just keep it right there. Bracy, that then brand new because he got his little money. And so, he's being sedity.
Well, no, you can't say that about Marv, because Marv didn't open up this side last year either.
I know Marv's in the chat. I messed with him.
I know.
Right? We messed with Marv. Right? And Fred is on, goon time, and he's running up the hill.
Goon time.
I seen the hill that he was running. You know what I'm saying? He's following his blueprint. Honestly, I'm not gonna doubt them. I'm only concerned about one because of the situation. Other than that, I think they'll show up when it matters. I think with USA's being in July, someone finally had sense to say, "Hey, let's move it back," which may open the doors up for some of them collegians because it gives them a little bit more time to recover. It may be it's gonna be interesting. I think Fred opens up in May. Fred opens up in May. Don't know when Marv is gonna open up. He's probably gonna open up in North Florida on his home track. And then we gotta see who all gonna show for that LA Grand Prix meet.
So y'all think it's smart that they haven't ran yet, or they should be running by now too?
No, I'm not. A lot of them been running relays, so the grass look good, man. Hey, look.
Yeah, he look good.
Yeah, the grass look good, man. Aaron Brown look good. I gotta give him credit. Aaron look good. It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. I'm interested to see what Noah Lyles does in the 100. I don't know when he opened up in the 100, but it's gonna be interesting to see. Definitely gonna be interesting to see.
With them three still sitting out. Let me ask y'all this. With them 3 still sitting out and they haven't turned the engine on yet, do you think that helps or hurts them for USA's in the long run?
It probably help them because USA's moved. I think USA's being moved back to July. I think it help them because normally when it's in June, they're already been running already.
So by you saying this is helping them, you're really saying that it's hurting the girls because they're running this fast so soon?
No, not at all.
I was seeing what you were saying.
Not at all.
Yeah, but
the girls are fine. Get ahead.
Nat, do you want to jump in or you?
No, I'm happy to listen.
Okay. So when you ask the question, do you mean just the U.S. situation, the guys within the U.S. against each other, or you're looking at globally?
I'm talking about just the 3 U.S. men who got medals last year.
Okay,
so none of them ran 100 yet.
Right. So because of Fred is on a different timeline, so we really shouldn't. He has that special timeline because he's going to get to Worlds and he doesn't have to do anything but turn up, right? So which has been the formula for which has been I have that advantage coming from a country where I didn't have the U.S. trials. It's an advantage that the grass has where he is able to plot his season to peak at a championships, right? The thing about Fred is that, you know, and I like I like Fred, right? I like his mentality and the way that he approaches things. But it's going to be A, he didn't race after because of the injury. So where's he at? And then B, you have a new sponsor, new shoes. I think last year when we looked at, and even seeing what happened with Jacobs this year, switching shoe companies, the fitment, right, of those shoes and the things that you've gotten used to doing, the way that you accelerate, the way things feel under your foot as you go around the turn, right? Those are things that they'll have to figure out. So equipment changes can be beneficial to some, but when it's a completely new company, it remains to be seen, because Fred has not run 100 meters since winning the world title, and he was dinged up then. So do I think that if he's near healthy, he can play cards? Of course, because he's Fred Curley, and Fred Curley is coming to run. That's one thing we never have to worry about. Fred is going to turn up to run. Now, is he going to be healthy? If he's healthy, he's dangerous. Are the shoes going to be to his liking? Is ASICS going to be able to have a shoe that Fred feels full comfort in executing? We saw it last year, even with Elaine switching shoes, and granted, at the World Championships, Shelley was still a cut above, but I think Elaine wasn't fully comfortable. Again, I mentioned Jacobs. These are things, you take the bag, but along with the bag comes with a new set of equipment that you have to get used to. So to me, that's where I look at it. In terms of Rommel, I don't know where he's at. But again, these guys are good, such superior starters. They are always in the race. It's not like someone like me, who I get out of races and then I got to run back. No, these guys show up. They are the best of the best starters. They're going to be there. So they're always in a race once they're healthy. Always. And then it comes down to musical chairs.
I'm pretty certain, I feel very confident that on the topic of shoes, let's just call it what it is. ASICS, and I'm going to say invested, because what a lot of people don't understand is Fred's contract did not come from ASICS running. Fred's contract came from A6, the company. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, I don't think that they invested the amount of millions that they invested behind that man to not do whatever they had to do or need to do to make sure something as basic as his shoe is what it needs to be. I'm going to go out on a limb and just say that. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, ASICS may not have the best shoes, but then ASICS ain't trying to make the boing boings for the entire world. ASICS only need to make one good shoe to match the boing boings. I think they got the budget and the know-how to make one shoe for one person to balance out with that whole changeover from that. And I know, allegedly, you know, I talked to them, they worked on that. So you got to also keep in mind with somebody like Fred. Fred's a smart individual. Fred's damn near smarter than a whole lot of them give him credit for. Fred ain't gonna make no decision because Fred had the decision of who he wanted to go to.
Right.
Whether it's Nike, Puma, or Adidas, all y'all are bidding on me, which means I'm gonna look at everything all y'all got to offer, not just the money. I'm not just gonna look at that. I'm looking at everything across the board. How do I win and get everything I want and lose nothing? Okay? So when you take somebody like that, you gotta understand that they done negotiated that shit already. Like, look, I ran in this. I feel comfortable in this. We need something like this. And you think they're going to say, well, we don't know how? Or you think they're going to go to their marketing department and say, y'all better figure out how to make this man a shoe. Because we just gave this man all this money for a reason. So sometimes you got to put the actual business aspect into it when it comes to these athletes. There's no way they finna let Fred Curley running a regular shoe that you can go buy and everybody else can wear. I don't see that happening. And that ain't because I got no inside, info on it. But I don't see that happening.
Yeah. You're making complete sense, because even with the shoes that I ran in for, when I I ran with Mizuno. That's what we did. We did all the testing, talked to the engineers. My shoes were different because I needed orthotics and I had some issue where my plantar fascia. So we did things to accommodate that. Of course, if they're investing that much and believing in Fred, right, you have to follow up. Again, it comes down to, remember, some of this stuff is also patented. It's not like I can simply, and because of the amount of money that like a Nike would put into it, it's going to be interesting. But of course, right, maybe the timeline of July affords Fred more chances and opportunities to tweak things. Whereas with Jacobs, hopping into a new shoe, coming in indoors, trying to run and figure that stuff out in what appears to be a mass market shoe is different than the timeline that Fred is on. So maybe that July plus having that buy into Worlds works out well for him to align his season. It's like the Mr. Olympia, right? The defending Mr. Olympia always has the advantage because he can plan his season completely different to the people trying to knock him off from the top.
Well, check this out. So we're getting close to that. We got 15 minutes to that 2-hour marker, so I want to go ahead and get into this last topic. And I feel like this is a great topic to have because we got so many different personnel on here to answer this. Okay, let's talk about this. What's more important, medals or fame?
Medals, man. What is this?
Oh, here we go.
Ball, baby. Don't care about no social media and that. Medals.
Look, man, I'm just putting it out there. What's more important, medals or fame? You got it.
But we talk about this in general or what it can do for your career and security and that? Because
in general, in track and field, what's more important, medals or fame?
Medals? Is that a question, Ray? Come on, man.
So sir, there was a whole debate that
with who though?
This is a whole debate that we had yesterday, a long 45-minute debate.
I'm gonna let Coach go because he's nodding. He looked like about to say something profound. So
listen, I'm not about to say nothing profound. I'm with you. Medals. We know who the person is who think fame or the people fame. Right? We know who the people are who think fame is bigger than the medals. And this support of loser culture is the problem that I have with today's athletics, man. Like, dude, you realize when Ray, Oba, and myself was running, if you was a loser, you got played, bro. Like, you got played, okay? You couldn't sit with the cool kids. Now, all of a sudden, the cool kids are the losers. Like, so then what are we doing this for? What are we doing this for? Oh, because how many likes you can get that makes you substantial? No. At the end of the day, you have to take care of what got you to fame. And if you're not taking care of what got you to fame, then guess what? Everything loses because that's what got you to where you are. So you have to put an emphasis. We have to get back to an emphasis with winning and earning your keep matters. There's people out here where earning your keep does not matter. Period. So yeah, medals.
Oh, done.
This is actually a far more okay. So, as a former athlete, when I was an athlete, I would say medals. When I got out of the sport, I started to appreciate the sport more as entertainment, right? So it's another form of entertainment, right? And from that perspective, it depends because you can cut this so many different ways. It's still performance based. But let's be honest, most of these shoe companies are making money from at least the track stuff. They might make money from, distance running, recreational runners, right? But a person can say, hey, I can be famous and do just enough, and I can still make a lot of money. And some companies are okay with that because it keeps their brand, it's the old saying, all publicity, or there's no such thing as bad publicity or whatever, right? Which I don't personally agree with. But one can argue that if a company already has people already winning the big stuff, why not have a character or person who is good or potentially great, and they play that other role. So we have that marquee person who has the performances, but we can also capitalize on the persona. Generally, I don't think it's good if you are in a sport that your persona so far exceeds your personality. I think it's good if you have both of them. But the world we live in, unfortunately, the social media, a company may say, you know what, whereas in the past it was just performances, they might look at it, the value proposition for some people might be, yeah, just perform good enough, but we like your personality too, and we'll leverage that.
Fame don't matter at all. Fame will have you at home broke. Okay? All right? Explain to y'all, because now I'm going to convert to the business side. Fame only works for you if people are paying you to be famous. Meaning,
correct.
If you are on the cover of this, for this car lot, if you're the spokesperson of that car lot because of your fame, you get a check, right? If you don't have that particular fame, it's worth nothing. Because guess what? If you got a medal, medals are worth 10 times more than fame. If you got a medal, guess what? Watch this. Guess what has to happen when Marvin Bracey shows up? He may not be the most famous or whatever, but people might even know who he is. But guess what happens when he shows up at a track meet? Before he put on his spikes, you had to give me a check for that medal. Before I even put my spikes on, all right? I don't give a damn how many followers I don't have. I don't care about none of that. I don't give a damn what coach says about me on the show. Before I put my shoes on, there's a check in my mailbox, all right? Because I got a medal. Before that medal, I ain't have nothing. Marvin Bracey will make way more money than people who are famous because he got a medal. Now watch this. I know a lot of people who I ran with that was famous, right? It was famous. Didn't get no medals, but they was famous. Where they at now? Nowhere. I know a lot of people who got medals. Now watch this. But because they had no fame behind those medals, they don't have nothing now. So it's a gift and a curse at the same time. Because you want to have both. You want to have the medals and the fame. Okay? You want to be Marion Jones. You want to be Maurice Green. You want to be Michael Johnson. You want them to build a whole center in Prosper, Texas with your name on it. That's the difference, okay? Now, when it comes to this whole debate that we was having, me and Coach was just trying to explain that to a colleague of ours, that the medals matter more than the fame. Why? Because it does not matter how famous you are. I promise you, if you don't get a medal, that shoe company gonna drop you. You can be the quietest person there is. Get a medal, they not dropping you. So let's just which one's more important then? See, like if we're talking about track and field, which one's more important? On any way you look at it, that fame shit don't mean nothing if you can't go out there and then back it up. You need those medals. So, Anson, call it. I know you just woke up and you watching, sir. No, meltdowns. Until you get a meltdown, don't none of that shit mean nothing. Like nothing, like literally. To me, I'm just saying like that. To me, in this sport, you put on a pair of spikes for one reason only. When any child said, I want to run track, they didn't run track because they said they want to be famous. If that were the case, they'd have picked up a microphone and started rapping. Or they'd have started taking acting classes. They didn't put spikes on because of that. They didn't put spikes on because they said people gonna like me. They put spikes on because they said I'm finna go whoop a ninja act. That's when they put them on. So now it's like we've gotten away from that part of the sport to where it's like, well, you ain't really got to get a medal, just run fast here and there. So now what you are programming is that nonsense to where we're back in that participation trophy shit. Like, you ain't really got to win, just participate. Fuck, no, you got to win. I don't care how you got to win. If you don't win, it don't mean nothing. And that's just my take on that. Like, because the fact that we actually debated that yesterday, which was more important, getting a medal or being famous? Now, I understand where Anson was coming from because, well, if you famous, you know, you got people knowing you. Okay, all this fine and dandy, but that don't mean you got paid. That don't mean you're getting paid from that fame. Because in order for you to get paid for that fame, you got to be somewhere. Literally. Nobody's just sending you a check because you famous. It ain't happening. You're going to be on the front of something.
Agreed, Ray. And so back to your point, because I was looking at it slightly different. Within the sport, absolutely, you got to win the medals. At the end of the day, that's where your highest value is going to come. Even outside of the sport, in life after, right? There's a lot to be said because the hardware is something that they can't debate. You put that on a resume or whatever, you leverage that, it doesn't disappear. It doesn't require a new generation to know who you are. A lot of people know nothing about me, but you know what? At the end of the day, you know, I'm blessed to be an Olympic medalist. And that's something in rarefied air. When you have that hardware, it's there. And it sets you apart. I also want to give a shout out, right? Because I know we were talking about, you know, we talked about Bromel and Bracy and stuff, and I didn't actually call their names, and I wanted to do that because I personally enjoy seeing these guys run, right? There are a lot of good guys. I know this is stepping backwards, but I wanted to do that because as a person who is really into the technical part of running and seeing good races, I like seeing these crop of guys turn up and perform well. So I just want to put their names. I don't know these guys personally, but I didn't want to say like, oh, I'm only talking about Coleman. I'm only talking about Fred. You know, I want to put some respect to the younger generation who I personally enjoy watching as well.
I want to put that comment up because Beyonce Stan, that's what's the name, number one supporter. I put that comment up for a reason. There is about, we'll just go ahead and say a lot of the majority of the household know Sha'Carri. They know her from running fast and doing this, yada, yada, yada.
No, Ray, stop.
Okay, I'm sorry. A lot of Americans know Sha'Carri because she failed a read test, all right?
Thank you.
Okay, because she failed a read test, all right? But Sydney, on the other hand, was actually on a Sports Center commercial.
Gatorade.
I was going to get there, Coach. She was actually on a Gatorade commercial, which means her medal and her fame got her paid. I don't give a damn what y'all saying about her personality. Don't want to give a damn about the personality when we're talking about logistics. Her personality got her in front of the homes of people in America on syndication, not for no weed, on syndication on ESPN and on Gatorade. Medals get you the fame. Point blank. Because we're talking America. If Elaine Thompson was American, if Shelly Ann Fraser Price was American, if Shelly Ann Fraser Price was American, she would probably be on the Senate. They'd be on a damn Congress license. Like, it's that part. It's like your medals should equal your fame because you're going to need those medals and that fame from those medals when it's all over with. Anytime that ESPN commercial run, guess who's getting a check? It's called royalties, baby. Keep it on loop. So the medals, you got to get those medals because those medals will actually solidify your fame. And just like Obi saying, when it's all over with, guess what they're going to do? Wicker down Pedia. You see, okay, all right, let me see what you did. You ain't got no medals? Because that's all people know. Like in the outside world, when it comes to track and field, all they know is medals. That's it. They don't know nothing else. They know Olympics, medal. That's it. They don't give a damn about no fast time. Don't know nothing about that. You got a medal? I had to go pull up my little NACA medal. Hell yeah, I got medals. Look, Pan Am. Oh, Ray, you got a medal from Pan Am? The outside world don't even know that it ain't the same. You see what I'm saying? Like, they see metal, they just see metal. And they don't give a damn. That's it. You got a medal? Oh, boy, I see you got medals. Yeah, baby, I'm dripped out. But these medals don't compare to an Olympic medal. But again, the outside world, the average person don't know that. So the fame is still in your medals. Hello, I'm sitting in the whole gym, right? The fame is in your medals.
You preaching, Ray. I mean,
Yeah,
that's it.
Hey, I ain't got nothing to say.
That was all I had to put out there because I know Anson, you know, we had to talk about that. He couldn't be on here, but yeah, that's it. That's all I want to touch on that topic right there. Like, now, can we please get back to getting medals? Can we stay on that? Matter of fact, we ain't got to get medals. Can we let's just keep it how it's supposed to be? Can we make teams, make finals, get medals? That's all that should matter. If you don't do one of those three, your whole season was a waste. You just waste. Your whole season is a waste. If you don't make a team, that's the first step. Make the team. You make a team, all right, well, it ain't a waste. You make a team and make the finals at the World Championship, even if you don't get no medal, or you in the upper epsilon. Shit, you might get no medal, but you in there, Jack. Can we at least get back to at least doing that first?
Well, party, and I'll end with this, Ray. So part of the problems with the world that we face with social media and stuff like that is to become famous. Oftentimes, it's not your higher self that you become famous for. And in the end, right, to become excellent and to win medals often requires your higher self. So at some stage, you're going to reach a fork in the road where I have to hunker down and just focus on my craft and become an excellent without all this noise and distraction. If you're constantly involved in or seeking or catering to that, you compromise your ability to get to the levels to compete against those people who actually don't care about fame, who may be as talented as you are, further ahead in their development you are, more experienced than you are. And so for me, yes, go after the medals, because in so doing, that gives you a longer road for your life to capitalize and leverage on that.
That part.
Hey man, when y'all preaching, I ain't
That part. That part. Well, look, we don't reach that 2-hour marker, but somebody had asked a pretty decent question. It actually was Colin. So he's still at work or whatever. But he had Coach. He sent it to us. And I'm gonna ask you, who do y'all think are some of the greatest sprinters to never win a gold? No, he said, who do y'all think are some of the greatest sprinters to never win a global medal?
Oh,
my first person was Leonard Scott and Mona Lee. That was my first male and female that came to mind.
If you're talking about from when since I've been competing, the only person I can think of, John Drummond,
no, JD got a medal. He got a medal. No. He's talking about
individual.
No, I think Colin talking about individual, like no medal at all.
Yeah, it's strictly individual. Individual.
I think it's strictly individual.
Yeah, John Drummond. The Drummond doesn't have any individual medals.
Okay.
John Drummond.
Not a sapphire. People are saying the sapphire in the chat. He has a medal.
He has medals. Yeah, he does have medals. 2 world medals.
My former boss, Harvey Glantz. He was the favorite to win. No, he was the favorite to win in '76, and Hazley Crawford beat him, and Coach G ended up getting 4th.
Yeah, he come 4th.
Yeah,
that's pretty big. Yeah.
Behind Don Corey and Boltsoff.
Yeah.
Michael Frater, that's another good one.
No, Michael Frater got second in
05. In 05 to Gatlin.
Yeah. So Tyson.
Nestor Carter got a medal.
Who?
Nestor Carter got a bronze.
Yeah, Nestor has a bronze.
Huh?
He does have a bronze.
Yeah, Nestor has a bronze.
It's a good question.
Ooh, sugar honey iced tea.
Steve Williams.
That's a really good question. I've never thought about that.
Hands down, absolutely.
Yeah, Steve Williams. Yeah.
Steve Williams, John Smith.
Yeah, John.
Steve Williams, John Smith. Golly.
Damn, I guess you gotta throw Mike in that pot. Damn. Yep, but Mike ain't got no individual medal either.
Which Mike?
Rogers.
Yeah, he's got world indoor medal. You want to count that, Ray? I know you don't like indoors, but
it's still a global medal.
The global medal.
It's still a global. Hey, listen, it's still a global medal. It's still something.
It's still a global medal.
You know, I'm gonna say this right now. I think the 60 is harder than the 100 because there's no room for error in the 60.
I will say this right here. Yes and no. The 60 is definitely harder to win in, which is why I say no, because it's so damn hard to beat somebody in it.
People in the chat saying Sha'Carri. Ooh.
I mean, Lolo, that's another good one. Lolo too. Lolo, that's another good one.
Yeah.
Bobsledding.
So you can't throw Sha'Carri in it.
No, not yet.
No, not greatest ever. No.
I don't think English did enough. Like, I mean, enough.
Mullins.
Nah, I don't think she. To me, enough is how many times have you had your heart broken to where you was in 4th and 5th?
No. English Gardner won the U.S. She won U.S. championships, 2 or 3 times?
You're talking about global.
Nah, probably talking about global.
Yeah,
that's what
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
English, only like world championships.
No, but that's what I'm saying. With English Gardner coming out of USA running 10.7s and then going to the world championship meet and literally tanking everyone.
Yeah, she did tank everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah,
That's one that doesn't sit well with me. That I'm surprised she never she never won a global medal, man. That one stings. I mean, she got.
But okay, we got to look where the 10.7s were run as well, so that matters.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that was the only year that she really had in her to get it was that year, because she never really fully bounced back since then.
Yeah, she's just had a lot of unfortunate things happen.
The injuries is, man. Look here, you know, shit.
I know.
Once you count one, good luck. Good luck, because the rest of them coming right behind it. The rest of them is coming right behind it, unless you got Dr. Mueller. That's another topic. Another story.
Oh, yeah. Well, great Dr. Mueller.
Unless you go in that white room, baby, your folks are coming back. Ooh. All right, y'all. So check it. We don't hit that 2-hour marker. This has been probably the first. I ain't gonna say first. It's up there though. One of the few times where we've hit that 2-hour marker, and I know we could have went another 2 hours, but we're not gonna do that because we all got lives to live. Nat, the stat, I think it's like 1 in the morning or some shit where he at. Nat, where you at?
Yeah, London.
London? What time is it?
No, this is 11:41. It's early.
11:41. Go knock on Anson door and then shoot him a bird for me. Hey, they gonna ring the doorbell when he comes. Just wave to the wife. Be like, "Hey sis," and then shoot him a bird and tell him this from Ray. Obadele, you down? Where you at now, sir? You down there?
I'm in Austin. I live in Austin, Texas.
You in Austin? You in my time zone.
Yep.
So, sir, we know you don't do none of the social medias and all that stuff.
No.
None of that stuff. None of that. But hey, you practice law down there, though, right?
Yeah.
No wonder you sound so elegant, and I can't really debate with you. All right?
No, but people who know me from when I was younger, my dad was a university professor in Barbados, and one thing my dad would do was he would take the other side, and he would always say, "It's not necessarily because I'll play devil's advocate, not because I necessarily believe this, but I don't ever want you to get up there and sound like an idiot in front of people because you haven't thought about the other angle." So it's not like the law didn't teach me. The law helped me learn how to research and write and things like that. But the thinking's always been there. The analytics have been there. I like having analytical conversations.
Wait, hold up. Over. Didn't you graduate with an engineering degree?
No, it was economics and marketing, but not engineering.
Okay. Listen, Oba's intelligence. I'm telling you, dog. The stories I used to hear about Oba, man, just from anybody that's from the Caribbean, his brain was legendary in the Caribbean. Legendary. Everybody used to speak about it like Oba super smart. This and the third. I'm like this is crazy.
They set the bar real low, and I found a way to get over
it. But you embody what a student athlete was supposed to be. All the rest of us, you know what I'm saying. We live life like rock stars, and you actually was a student athlete. You got through, we got by.
Shout out to Davian Clark, who used to own me back in the Carifta days. Davian is one of the biggest, former NCAA champion, medal, Olympic medals, world medals for Jamaica in the relays. Davian was a huge part of my development as a junior. I could not beat that guy in the 200 meters. I win the 100, he'll win the 400. We come down 200, always, it was like rock, paper, scissors. He always got me. And the first time I beat Davian was in 1994 in Trinidad at CSC Juniors. And to me, that is still one of the highlights of my career. I used to train with the imaginary Davian Clark in my mind as a junior athlete. So shout out to Davian. And there was Anson there. Anson turned it out. You've never seen me so friendly. Anson, because look at the type of conversations we're having, Anson. Respect to Anson. Respect to Anson.
Anson brings the worst out of everyone.
Oh my God. Don't say that, man.
Everyone. Okay.
You talking about devil's advocate? Devil's advocate. If you look here, if you want to lose your cool, matter of fact, if you want to start smoking cigarettes, talk to Anson.
Oh, Anson's the ultimate troll, man. Anson is a troll. Sometimes it's like, yo, this Anson, you're thinking like, Anson, there's no way you actually believe this. You're just trolling. There is no way, Anson, you believe this. And he'll just keep going on and just stirring it. But dog.
Cigarette,
Shout out to Anson, man.
Hey, all right, that's family right there. That's how
it is, man, for sure.
Man, listen, look here. That dude there, love him to death, but boy, he gonna push them buttons. And the thing about it is, he pushed them so calmly. It's like, how can you be so calm saying such the craziest shit? Like, you didn't believe what you're saying, and then you're trying to convince me of it, and then get upset when you don't believe it. Boy, that dude there, something else, love him to death.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Check it. Coach.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and tell them where you find you at. They know Obadele ain't got there. Tell them where you at.
Twitter. You can find me on Twitter. Part 4. Also, happy belated birthday, Oba.
Happy belated
Thank you.
birthday, brother.
Happy birthday, man.
You know Thanks. What I'm saying? And Wednesdays, me and my compadres, me and my day ones, me and my brothers, we do our collegiate track and field recap, and we talk about things, just talk about the in-depth side of college coaching and things that people are scared to approach. So catch us Wednesdays, Track Chat with the most known unknowns, YouTube 8:00 Eastern Time, 7 Central, and we get on there and we talk and we let it be known. You got 2 head coaches, 1 director of track and field, actually 2 directors of track and field. And then, they speak the truth, man. And we've gotten a lot of compliments. A lot of coaches come up to us and say, hey, man, y'all say things that we are scared to say, but we say it in a way. We say it in a way where nobody gets fired, nobody gets disrespected. You know what I'm saying? And we articulate ourselves like professionals. So, definitely, sometimes stamps can fly off the deep end, but, we reel them back in. But, check us out, man.
Nat with the stats.
Hello.
Everybody in the chat know who you are. You more famous than we are. Shit. Everybody.
Nah. No way.
Nat got to be my statistician soon, man. Like Nat, you need to come.
Coach, DM me, man. Any numbers? I'll be doing splits on the day of the meet.
Listen.
I'm in the lives giving people numbers.
If you on IG, man, IG, man. Send me a follow, man.
Yeah. No, you already followed me back, so I feel honored because you said you don't follow everyone back. So
you don't.
Okay.
We don't. What I tell y'all, when they cross the line, and they punching they shit. Right, I got them at the first 30 with 3-5. The second, I'm like, when Nat come and win it and be like, wait, I don't think they're gonna be able to hold that up. Well, why you say that, Nat? Well, based on their numbers from last season, if you look at 2017 when she ran down, I'm like, Nat, baby, listen. Just tell me who you think gonna win.
Gotta have context, right? Gotta have some context, man.
I'm like, just tell me who you think gonna win. That gonna break it down to their toenail. Like, if she didn't clip that toenail, I can tell that second 30 wasn't as good as her last week 30 because I saw her IG and I seen that she was not at the salon this time. So, boy, Nat with the stats be having it. Sir, we are glad. Yeah, I've been trying to get Nat on the show for the longest. I ain't lying. I've been on it. Nat, you gotta come on the show, man. You gotta come on the show. You just gotta come on the show because you a track person. Like shit, that's where you supposed to be at.
Listen, if you have me back, I'm glad to come on, man. Be glad to come back on, especially in the summer when it gets popping.
This is what you're gonna have to do. Anytime we have these major competitions, you're gonna have not competitions, the races too, like these fast races. You don't have to come on the show and give them splits instead of sending them to me like this what they did. Because I want the people to hear you do it and how you came up with it, and you say what I be saying on the show. Like, well, hear what he said. So let's do that,
sure,
sir. Let's start doing that. And because you in London, you know, we still, coach, we still ain't got on our new schedule, which supposed to be Sundays at 3:30. Eastern got off yesterday, but we're gonna start trying to make sure we can come on earlier for people like that and all the artists in London and all of that, so that y'all can enjoy it and that we can have people like him on the show, because good information, great information. I appreciate you coming on, sir. I appreciate you. I appreciate all y'all for coming on. And per usual, y'all in the comments, the smarts and the stupids, because they know in between. We appreciate y'all. We truly do, because we couldn't have a show without the stupids. It would be boring. We would have nothing to talk about. How can we debate if the stupids don't say stupid stuff? Then we don't have nothing to talk about. So we love y'all more than we love anybody. Per usual, I'm not gonna tell y'all don't fight on Twitter, because that shit don't work. I'm gonna try this one again though. Don't tag me in your fight. Literally, don't tag me. And like, look here, I'm gonna say it one last time, okay? I'm a peaceful person, all right? If you get into a block fight, don't expect Ray to fight with you. I ain't got nothing to do with that. What you started, don't tag me in it. They can tag me in like, ain't no right RaesTake. No, it ain't right. I don't have nothing to do with that.
Right. Right. I'll be tagged right in there with you.
Yeah, you be tagged. I'll be saying like, man, what me and Coach got doing there? Who ain't know what y'all arguing about? Oh, stop tagging us. All right. I appreciate all of y'all. Obadele, you must come back, sir. You must come back. You and more the voice of reasoning on the show. You know,
Yeah.
you balance it out. You balance it out.
When it gets deeper into the season and I see the body of work that people have put together, we can start looking at some trends, see where people are going, and it should be fun this season. Hopefully everyone stays healthy and we have a good season.
Okay. Before we go, I gotta ask this question, because we just kick the season off. On the spot right now, around the table, then we get out of here. Right now today, give me your male and your female U.S. champ. 100 meter.
Fred and Sha'Carri.
Fred and Hobbs.
Obadele?
I'm missing some information, man. Okay, I'm missing information. I can't even answer that. I'm sorry. That's my personality. I'd say Sha'Carri.
And for the men.
But I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Bromell, and I haven't seen Marvin, so I can't. It's, Fred, I'm missing too much information. So, and I don't think Fred's going to run the final. Why should he?
I'm gonna go.
That's a good call.
If he do run it, I'm gonna go Fred, and I'm gonna go TT Terry. I told y'all that shit last week. I ain't changing it up. I'm gonna go Fred and TT Terry. Those are my two picks. As of right now, after week 1, Fred, TT Terry. There'll be a whole nother show explaining why. But there it is. Fred and TT. I'll see y'all in about 5 months where I say I told you so. That's all I know. Fred, TT. Coach, you already got my cap on, so you can't tell I'm capping. It's already on.
All right, y'all.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Appreciate it.
Peace out.
Y'all be safe.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's kind of the show. You know? I hope y'all enjoyed it. That's it. That's all. I'm gonna go back to work or whatever and whatnot. Okay, people, let me explain something to y'all. Hold on. Y'all see this? Y'all see it's freshly opened? Hold on, because I'm about to freshly take it back. First of all, y'all, I have plenty of money. This is started like that. Yeah, if you not see my car, you not see my gym, you not see my jewelry. I have plenty of money, okay? I have been through microphone after microphone after microphone. And you know what it is? It's damn Apple. This is why this is why I'm going back to Android. Because my whole first 2 years of doing RaesTake, guess what? I ain't had no problems. I ain't had no problems with the recording. I ain't had no problem with the microphone. I ain't had no problem with nothing. But then, somebody convinced me to come Team My Phone. Man, I ain't shit worked since I became Team My Phone. Boy, I'm done with Team My Phone. So next week, my microphone will be working because I'm not going to be using this damn Apple products no more. I'm going back to Android. So if I text you and you see green, just deal with it. Because it ain't going to be blue no damn more. Tired of this shit. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Peace.